Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 48 of the Fair Housing Insiders. I'm your host, Jonathan Sarr, and joining me today is my co-host, Michael Coughlin. And today we're looking forward to talking about fair housing as it relates to phone calls. But before we get into that, we're happy to announce that on YouTube, we're now over 1,000 subscribers. So thank you to all of you who have subscribed to our channel. We're so grateful for our awesome community. And if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that. Or if you prefer the newsletter, make sure you sign up for our newsletter. Go to fairhousinginstitute.com and you'll see on the menu there where you can subscribe to the newsletter. And not only for the purpose of this show, but we always have extra things that we're sharing via our newsletter. So it's really important that you sign up for that so you never miss out on any of that today. And don't forget Instagram at Fair Housing Institute. Please sign up for our Instagram account where we do a lot of nice, fun, short clips when it comes to fair housing and different topics. So today, Michael and I are talking about fair housing and phone calls, turning a blind ear. So Michael, you want to give us a little summary rundown of what we're going to be talking about today?
Yeah, of course, Jonathan. Always happy to talk about this kind of stuff. As our means of communication grows over the years, it's kind of easy to forget an old staple. You know, we're used to sending a lot of emails. A lot of properties and housing providers are communicating over social media, but phone calls are still really, really important for a few different reasons. Like obviously, when we're on the phone in an office, things can get busy. You can have people coming in and out. One of your coworkers or your supervisor could be trying to talk to you while you're talking to a resident or a guest or a prospect, and that can make it really easy to slip up. Mm-hmm. Another reason is that a lot of testing still occurs over the phone. The reason is because it's cheap. Obviously, for in-person testing, you got to find people in the area. There's going to be some travel time. You can only see so many properties in a day. It's a lot of work versus over the phone. You can hit dozens and dozens of properties just in a single day, and that can be from somebody that's not even in the state. So you can have a whole bank of people doing testing, and they could run through all of your properties or all the properties in your area just in a matter of a few hours. So it's really economical for people that are doing testing and convenient. So you need to be aware that it's very easy to slip up on the phone, especially when you're busy. So we need to kind of run through the ways that can happen.
Yes, excellent. Yeah, we've covered communication in other episodes in general, but yeah, it's really important to have a focused training session episode on phone and some things you need to be careful about. Okay, so let's talk about look at it from this perspective, Michael. So how could someone make a fair housing violation claim based on race or nationality from a phone call when the person hasn't even seen the caller?
Right. You would think that, they would need to be in person for them to assume that you're making that kind of discriminatory action against them. But that's not the case. The person could have given you a last name that sounds foreign or, sounds like it's, not from the area. The person could speak with an accent. And again, these could be faked in order to see if you're, to test you, to see if you're providing the right information. So again, just because they're not in front of you doesn't mean that you can't be found for discriminating against them.
Right. Exactly. Very good. That's awesome. So let's take this basically the same question, but from a different perspective. So how is it possible that someone can make a fair housing violation claim for a disability when that conversation's over the phone and they've never seen the person? How is that possible?
Sure. That could be, you could receive a call from a phone relay service from a person that is deaf or hard of hearing. You could have had noticed possible speech impediments or difficulty speaking, which could possibly be categorized as having a developmental disability, any kind of speech impediment like that. One of the things that you really want to look out for, obviously, disabilities is a huge topic within fair housing. A lot of over half of all fair housing complaints and investigations involve disability requests of some kind, usually a reasonable accommodation or modification. But what you really want to watch out for is when people start asking you things that have to do with your policies. Maybe it is your reasonable accommodation policies, your pet policies, your accessibility can kind of go into that category as well. Even your criminal history screening policies. That's where a lot of the trip up can come from. So be really careful that you understand what you're saying to them, that you're very confident about. You have the policy in front of you, or maybe you go to talk to a supervisor or something just to make sure you understand it right, so you can communicate that information effectively and consistently for every person that's calling.
Very good. Very good. Awesome explanation. Thanks, Michael. And I love this next kind of subtopic to this. I think of all the times that I've been put on hold and wonder what's going on in the office. So should in-person visits take priority over phone calls?
No, not necessarily. This kind of is going to go on a case-by-case basis. But I mean, usually in these kind of offices, you kind of run on a first come, first served basis.
Right.
Occasionally there are, some emergency situations that, somebody may need to kind of jump the line. Usually that's because a resident has some kind of emergency. So that may happen. Well, the main thing to take away from here is not, does the phone call come first? Does the office come first? Is that you really need to have a clear policy on this, a procedure that you have that everybody in your office understands about how to handle those situations. What do you do if you're on the phone with a prospect and a resident comes in and they're unhappy and they don't want to wait? How do you handle that situation? You need to talk that through with your entire staff and make sure, again, everybody's on the same page. Because if one of the leasing agents or one of the employees has their own method for how they handle the order and another has a different order, that's not going to work. That throws the whole office off. So make sure that everybody understands what your procedure is when those kind of things come up.
Yeah, that's golden. Yeah, I like the different scenarios you portrayed there. It's good to talk that over, role play it out, what could happen in many different
Absolutely.
circumstances. So, all right, well, why don't we look at a scenario? So we got a scenario we wanted to share with you, the audience, of something very similar to what Michael was just talking about, a leasing agent answering the phone while a prospect is in the office. So let's take a look at the scenario, and then we'll get your comments and feedback on it, Michael.
What are your two-bedroom apartments like? Do they have a lot of windows?
Yes, there are a few floor plans that... I'm sorry, Mrs. Bernstein. Just one moment. Hi, welcome to Main Street Apartments. How can I help you?
Thank you. I'd like to know if you have any studio or one-bedroom apartments available.
Sure, I'd be happy to help you with that. Just give me a second. Hello, Mrs. Bernstein?
Yes.
Can I get your number and call you back? I just had someone come into the office.
All right. So, this is a scenario just like we talked about earlier, is you're on the phone with somebody trying to help them out and somebody comes in the office and what do? So in this scenario, they told the person over the phone, sorry, I'm going to have to call you back. Somebody just came to the office. And no big deal, right? Well, maybe. We don't know. Again, that could have been a tester. The person could certainly be upset that they just got kind of pushed to the back of the line while they were talking with them. And, coming from like, how could this be discrimination? It's like, well, the person could do it. It is Mrs. Bernstein. So we can assume that, she could do it on the basis of sex. Again, even as far-fetched as it possibly sounds, Bernstein, can, commonly be referred to as possibly a Jewish name. So even that assumption that it could be a Jewish name could again be discrimination regarding religion. But either way, it doesn't seem like they meant anything, no ill will from there was no bad intentions maybe, but that doesn't really matter. I disagree. They should have helped the person they were talking to. I it's usually not a good idea to cut somebody off unless
Right.
it's a really emergency situation. But again, have that policy in place, have that procedure in place. Make sure your employees understand how to handle that situation.
Right. Very good. Nice explanation. Good scenario too. Nice visual for all of our audience. So. All right, Michael, you're the only winner of $1 quintillion cajillion dollars for getting the fast 5 questions in under 60 seconds. So
that's right. I'm still waiting on the cashier's check to come.
That's
through.
right. It's coming. It's in the mail. It's in the mail.
Yeah.
We can probably make our own fair housing cryptocurrency. Maybe that's what we should call it. The
There we
fair
go.
fair housing.
At this point, why
cryptocurrency.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we got our 5 questions. Are you ready?
Do my best.
All right. Here we go. Should there be an order for returning missed phone calls?
There should, but it should be up to your office to figure out what that procedure to that order is. And everybody should be on the same page.
Awesome. How can you tell if you're talking to a tester?
You can't. So just assume everybody could be a tester.
What should you be extra careful about talking over the phone?
Your policies and procedures, things like accessibility, reasonable accommodations, modifications, pet policies, criminal history screen.
How should you answer a question about your policies if you aren't 100% sure of the answer?
Don't go figure out what the answer is. Tell them you can call them back. Like, talk to your supervisor. Don't give them inaccurate information.
How can your company protect yourselves from creating a fair housing situation over the phone?
Lots of training and role playing. Work through these scenarios. Make sure everybody understands what they need to do, especially if they run into a little bump.
Very done. Very well done. Close, but no $1 quintillion fair housing cryptocurrency for you. 1 minute and 9 seconds. That's pretty good, man. That was really good.
I was so close.
Very, very good. Very good.
All right.
Yeah. Such a fun segment for the show. I love it. So yeah, thanks, Michael. What a great show, great episode. Nice to focus on this particular subtopic of communication when it comes to fair housing. What's your closing thoughts? Anything you'd like to say to kind of wrap up our episode today?
Again, I just want to really push again that do your training, run through those scenarios. Make sure people know how to answer questions properly, and know that if they don't, to go get help, and don't just wing it. But I also want to say a great thank you to our fair housing training community, our audience out there. As we talked about at the beginning of the episode, we just reached 1,000 subscribers. We're really happy about that. We're excited. We love the fact that you guys are watching this. You're getting something from it. We want to do what we can to help our industry and provide this free resource. And the more you keep watching, the more ability we have to keep bringing that to you. So keep liking, subscribing, watching, share it with people you think can benefit. It helps them. It helps us. And get involved. We're asking for your questions. If you got questions about this episode, ask them down in the comment page. If you have questions about our other episodes, post them. If you didn't know, we actually just recently had one of our first winners for we're gathering everybody's questions that they have on our episodes. We're picking some great ones to feature on answer episodes, and we're picking a random winner from some of those questions. They get a $250 gift card. It's really exciting stuff. So we already had a first winner recently. So, you can get your questions answered and win some money. I can't beat that. So make sure to go to our website, fairhousinginstitute.com. You can find more information about it there. Get signed up with our newsletter. Get involved because we want to help you, and we can't do that unless you reach out to us. So again, thank you to everybody for getting us here, and I'd love to see where we go from here.
Yeah. Amen to that. Ditto to all that. Thanks so much, Michael. Yeah, we appreciate your support. Great community. Thank you for using these episodes as training tools for your team. We continue to hear good feedback along those lines as well. So we thank you for participating and watching this episode today, and we'll see everyone next time. Take care, everyone.